creative artists. I am Miss Smith and welcome to my virtual art class. For our first project this year, we will be studying 2-point perspective. If you took art in 7th grade, you learned about 1-point perspective. So this is just twice as hard and twice as fun. But very similar to 1-point perspective in that you will have a horizon line. But instead of having one vanishing point, you will have 2 vanishing points. And in the Google Classroom, you'll see links to many different ways of applying this one idea of 2-point perspective to your artwork. We are going to draw a simple house today, but if you feel so inclined to try a different way using 2-point perspective, go for it. As long as you're using these techniques, I'm really open to see what you can come up with creatively. The materials you will need to use today are pencil, eraser. You could use a separate eraser sometimes, that works better. A ruler or a straight edge would be extremely helpful, if not necessary actually. So if you don't have a ruler, you could use another piece of paper, a book, a folder, anything straight, because you're going to want to really get those lines nice and neat. And then you may choose to add some contrast by outlining in Sharpie, or you could add color. I use a lot of crayons because there's so many different shades of colors, but you can use whatever you have around the house. Markers, colored pencils, watercolor paint, chalk, oil pastels. There's so many possibilities. So with this lesson, I'll give you the basics, but I want to be clear, you can get creative, so please put your own spin on this. As far as techniques for filming, I think it may be easier for me to do a combination of showing you on paper in person and then also digitally. So with this video, I'm going to try to merge the steps and show them twice just to make it easier. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully it turns out well, and thanks for joining along with me. Step number 1, create a horizon line. There are several different ways to accomplish this. One would be to use the measurements on your ruler. For instance, if I wanted my horizon line to be, say, 4 or 5 inches from the bottom, I would measure at least twice. So I'd make a mark here at 5 inches, move it over, another mark at 5 inches, one more here at 5 inches, and then I would connect all 3 of my lines. That would be a wonderful way to create a horizon line. Another way, which may be slightly easier, so I'll be doing that, would be to fold your paper. Now, for this particular assignment of a simple house, it's actually better not to have your horizon line in the middle. So instead of folding your paper squarely in half, if you could leave a little bit here, that'll give you a slightly lower horizon line. But one thing that's important is to make sure these edges line up squarely with the edges of the paper so that it's not uneven or unlevel. Okay, so that's a little bit hard to see. Ah! Let's make that a little easier to see. I'm going to now use my ruler to darken this. Make sure you use a pencil because this is one of many lines that we'll want to erase later on after we have drawn the house. Step 1, horizon line complete. Check. The paper keeps falling. Step number 2 is to create 2 vanishing points. Unlike 1-point perspective, when you have your vanishing point in the middle, this time we will have 2 vanishing points. So here, right near the edge, you want to put an X or a dot, either way, right on the edge there, and then one on the other side of your horizontal piece of paper. 2 finishing points on either side. Step 2, finished. Step number 3, we'll start using our ruler. You need to create a vertical line going through the middle, actually just a little bit off from the middle. So I'm going to go, this would probably be about the middle here. I'm going to go slightly left of center here. Okay. One way to ensure that this is vertical and not leaning is to square up your ruler, the bottom of the ruler, with the bottom of the paper. Okay. This vertical line does not need to go all the way to the top or the bottom. In fact, it shouldn't. Very important line. Step 3, vertical line. Step number 4. This is getting a little bit more complicated. Okay. So you want to create a point here. It could be just the top of your line. And then another one down here. I'm just going slightly below and above the bottom of that line. So that's step number 4. And then I'm just going to merge this into step 5 as well, which is to connect this dot and this dot with the left and the right sides. Okay. So definitely going to need your ruler here. You know, in fact, I'm going to accentuate these two X's into X's and dots just to make it easier to see. All right, doesn't matter what order you go in, but it does matter that you check both sides. So here I've got one edge of the ruler touching that dot, and I've got the other edge of the ruler touching this dot. All right, perfect. And then the same thing here. Edge touching dot. Edge touching dot. Bada bing, bada boom. 2 more. And then step 5 will be complete. I wonder if in the end there's going to be so many steps that I lose count. I've filmed several videos before, but this is the most technical video I've ever made. That's why I thought it might be easier to go with steps, but I have to remember this is step 5. Step 5 kind of reminds me of a kite. Step number 6, we're going to work on the vertical lines that will show the sides of the house. To be the corner of the house that is closest to your eye. Hence perspective, that's what you see with your eyes, and we all know that distance changes the way things look. So I need the other 2 sides of my house here. I recommend the sharper angle, the side with less space, having a longer wall. I think you could do it either way. I'm going to choose this vertical line to be a little bit further away here. So I'll probably pull this one a little bit further in. Okay, again, you want this bottom of the ruler to be lining up with the bottom of the page. Okay, one vertical line. And then, like I said, I'm going to make this one slightly shorter because I've got a less severe angle on that side. This lesson is super math heavy, which is actually an awesome challenge for me. I'm not naturally particularly great at math, although you as an artist use math so much spatially that maybe I'm better than I think. So these terms like horizontal and vertical, parallel, perpendicular, these are all terms that really help you with this project. All right, step 6 was 2 vertical lines creating the edges of the house. Step number 8 is to create a crisscross or axis on the side, on either side of the house. By connecting these diagonal points on each side. So this one goes to here, this one to here. That creates an X. Same here. One thing that will help me and everyone to see is some dots. Use your ruler to connect the dots. That's pretty easy. Lining up both edges. I'm going to make an X. That's a diagonal line. And the other half of my X is also diagonal line. So you'll notice that this axis does not line up with the horizon line. That's a good thing. You do not want it to, actually. Okay, same thing on the other side. 2 dots connected diagonally. 2 dots connected diagonally. Always checking the top and bottom, holding it still. Another axis, both are above the horizon line. That was step number 8. Step number 9 is to create another vertical line that goes through the axis on the right side. Done the axis over here. I don't know if I'm going to need that one as much, but it won't hurt. So, and it's there. Left, wait, right side. This side, this one. Create a vertical line. Going through. It's weird talking to a camera by myself when I'm used to talking to a room full of students. Not that they're necessarily always laughing at my jokes, but it certainly feels weird to just be talking to a camera. Okay, step number 9 is a vertical line going through the axis on the right side. Step number 10 is the pointy roof that we'll see from the side of the house. So this vertical line then becomes pointing to the top of the roof. I don't think it exactly matters how high your roof goes. I'm just going to estimate, I think it would look pretty cool up here. So I'm just going to put a little dot there. And then you need to connect these lines. So I'm going to go dot to dot, dot to dot. That will make a triangle shape. That looks good. Becomes the side of my house. I'm gonna tape this paper because it's driving me bonkers. Technical issues. All right, I think we're step 11. Yep, 11. This top point of your roof needs to angle down towards that vanishing point. dot all the way down to this dot. Now when I skewed it, or when I moved it, that then skewed that first one. So always check both sides here and just connect all the way to your left-hand vanishing point. That is step 11. Step 12, wow, there's a lot of steps. You need to create a line here that mirrors this angle there. So one way to do that would be to actually use your ruler and mimic this angle, and then just pull it down to that angle. I'm eyeballing it as well. It's a really short line, so it doesn't make a huge difference, but you want these to be parallel here. This creates the other side of the roof. That was step 12. Step number 13 is to start getting your angles for doors and windows, since we basically have the shape of the house already made. So you know that a door does not go all the way up to the ceiling. So if this is the ceiling, the roof line here, then the door should not go all the way there. I'm going to estimate a door would probably be maybe 3/4 of the way up or 2/3 of the way up. So just put a dot. Definitely it needs to be above your horizon line. I'm going to put a dot here. There's my horizon line. That is my dot for step 13. And you guessed it, you're gonna connect that dot to both vanishing points. Doesn't matter what order you go in, but you definitely want doors and windows on both sides because that will help with the illusion. So, dot to dot, connect here. Great. Now dot to dot, connect on the left side. Step number 13. Boom, done. Step number 14 is to create a line for the bottom of your windows. I recommend that they go slightly below the original horizon line. So I'm going to find my horizon line here that goes straight across and create a dot a little bit lower. You could call that about 1/3 of the way up. And then what? You tell me, what should I do next with that dot? You got it! Connect it to the vanishing point. See, things get easier the more you practice. Not gonna lie, because lying's bad. I have practiced this before to prepare, so don't get frustrated if it's hard the first time. It was hard for me the first time. I watched several YouTube videos to make sure I was getting it right. And I practiced, so. Don't get down if this is frustrating, because this is a very technical drawing. Step number 14 is complete. Yay! Step 15 is to create the vertical lines that will show you the edges of your doors. I'm just gonna put doors on both sides of my house. This is something you could get creative with. You don't have to do the same side. All right, I want doors in the middle of both sides, so I'm gonna put, let's see, what would be the best way to do this? I think I'm gonna start on this side here. You're gonna use that line. This is getting complicated. This line here for the top of the door. So I'm gonna put 2 dots here for the top of the door. 1 and 2. Ooh, I just realized they could actually touch your axis lines, or your the X lines that we did. That could kind of make that a little easier. And then after you do those dots, you just need to go straight down vertically. Again, I'm lining up my ruler with the bottom of the paper so that it's flush and vertical. I'm just gonna stop here. That's one door. There's another side of the door. Okay, it's a little hard to see. Maybe if I darken it. Okay, I know I need a door on the other side too, so I'm just gonna put that all within step 15. Because we're getting a lot of steps here. 2 dots. 1, 2. This time I did not line them up with the axis just because I think either way is fine, honestly. Ooh, I have an idea. When I film the little digital pieces that accompany this video, maybe what I'll do is choose different color lines. Because I don't know about you, but I'm getting a little lost here with all these lines. It's a lot going on. But hopefully you can see these 2 doors now. That was step 15. Wow. Step number 16 is to create the windows. Very similar as the doors, they can line up with the same lines as the top of the doors, but with windows, they don't usually go down to the floor. So I'm gonna have them end at that line that we created in like step 14, that stops about 1/3 of the way up. So you know your windows probably would not end up touching the door, so I'm gonna put 2 lines here for that window, and then this one, they're gonna be pretty skinny windows. That's okay. Okay, and then I need to make sure that's flush and vertical. Pull that line down. Again, I am stopping here at this line since it's not going all the way to the floor. There, stop. And I have my 4 corners of that window. We'll do the same here with this little skinny window. And one more on that side. I'm gonna dot these just so you can see them a little bit better. Eventually I'll probably go back with Sharpie and outline these shapes. Let's go ahead and do 2 more windows on either side of this door as well, leaving a little bit of space in between the doors and windows. 2 dots, bring those down, line it up, even Steven, and 1 more here. Dot it, easier to spot. Okay, and another window here. Let there be light. Doors and windows done. Unless you wanted to add another one up here, but for this I'm gonna try to keep it a little simpler. Step number 17 is a chimney. I know I said I was keeping this simple, but if you add this one more architectural detail, it will really stand out. You could use the corner of your house, this one right here, that was one of the first lines we drew, as the corner of your chimney. You do not have to, but for me that makes it a little bit easier just to go ahead and line it up with what I've already done here. So I just put that right there, and I'm gonna make this line going up. All right, so now the corner of my house is also the corner of my chimney. Step number 17 wasn't too bad. Step number 18, woo, we're getting up there. Put a dot at the top of your chimney. It could be the same height as this, or lower or higher, it really doesn't matter. I'm just gonna put a dot right here. What do we do with our dots? We connect them to the vanishing point. Becoming experts now. Connect that on one side and connect here on the other. That's giving us our two sides of the chimney. Fabulous. All right, that was step number infinity. I don't know. I'm losing track. Step number 19 is to create the bottom of the chimney. That is where it comes out of the roof. So maybe about halfway in between this roof line and that roof line. Ooh, we got a lot of lines going on here. It's getting a little confusing. So you guys are troopers for hanging in there with me. Okay, normally I would take this to both vanishing points, right? Well, just to make it a little harder, not this time. So just take it to the left. Step number 19. Step number 20 is to create the vertical line for the side of your chimney. Okay, I don't know how wide to make this chimney. Not too terribly wide, maybe about right there. And that needs to be vertical. And I can stop it at that line there because it doesn't need to go all the way through my house. Make sure that's vertical, come down here, and then make a point there. Okay. Wow, step 20, complete. Step number 21 is to just connect this dot with the intersection of the chimney and the roof line. That is right there. And those dots make it easier to see. You don't have to do dots. Okay. Hallelujah. I think I'm done with my technical part of the drawing. Woo! Let me get that ruler out. It might be a good time for a brain break. Get up, get moving. Blah, blah, blah.